I found a child's shirt in my fiancé's hamper, exposing the 3 kids and double life he hid, so I left. Okay, so here is where my brain just short-circuited. I called him. No answer. I checked the garage. Tiny sneakers again. My stomach dropped, right? And here is where it gets worse. I pulled a folder from his desk and found statements from the State Child Support Office. 23 payments, all marked current. Coffee stains marked the page. There were pediatric clinic invoices too, names I did not recognize. Dates that lined up with weekends he told me he was working overtime. My hands went cold. I could not swallow. I mean, how do kids just appear in paperwork you supposedly do not have? I hit dial on the last unknown number on his call log. A woman picked up. Her tone was flat. I took a breath. My voice came out tight. Who are you to him? Keys clinked on her end. Who are you? I'm his fiancé. Her voice went steel. I'm the mother of his children. I gripped the counter. Children? How many? 3. 2 boys and a girl. Do you know about me? A pause. He said you were a mistake. I stared at the invoices until the print blurred. A second later, she added, almost bored. He told me you were pregnant. No, I am not. Now, the discovery that changed everything. I opened his email and found a custody calendar titled Weekends. It listed exchanges since September, every other weekend, with drop-offs at a park near the highway. I counted 4 months of exchanges, 12 weekends, dozens of messages between him and her, discussing pickups, school events, and dentist appointments. My throat tightened reading. See you Friday at 6, and can you bring her blue shirt? The timestamp showed last week. At this point, I am just done. The family advocate at the community center leaned forward, her face grave. One more confrontation on your own could turn dangerous. If he is maintaining a double life, he might escalate. I went to the police desk. Anyway, the desk officer looked at the papers and shrugged. Domestic deception is not a crime. If he did not threaten you, find a new place to stay. I just stood there, thinking, what do you do when the truth is obvious and nobody with a badge cares? If the system will not help, what now? Part of me wanted to throw the ring on the floor and scream. Part of me wanted answers. I packed a backpack. Instead, I slid my passport and birth certificate into a folder. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why not wait and confront him to his face? Because my hands were shaking too hard to trust my voice, and because the advocate's warning hung in my ears. I lifted the lid on the hamper again. The shirt was pink with a cartoon dog. I folded it gently. Then I tucked it into a gallon bag and zipped it shut. I grabbed my laptop. I copied the emails to a drive. I tucked cash into my shoe. I checked my flight app for standby seats. He called finally. The screen lit up. I watched it ring out. It rang again. Then a text popped up. Working late. Be home after 9. My jaw locked. When he got home, he tossed his keys on the counter without looking up. You okay? I leaned against the sink. Who is Jordan? His eyebrows twitched. Coworker. And Maya? He scratched his cheek. Client? I set the folder down. Child Support Office, 23 payments. His voice went sharp. You went through my things. I held up the bagged shirt. Whose is this? He laughed without humor. You are making something out of nothing. I kept my palms flat on the counter. Then explain it. He dropped his bag and paced. Someone used my washer. Maybe the cleaning lady. You are spiraling. The room thinned around my ears. We do not have a cleaning lady. He exhaled hard. You are paranoid. So I am like, what are you even talking about? He stared at the ceiling. You know exactly what I mean. My leg bounced. Do your parents know about your kids? He blinked. Do not bring them into this. I took a breath that burned. The woman on your phone called you the father of 3 children. His mouth opened, then closed. He rubbed his temples. She is unstable. She told me you said I was pregnant. He looked away. I was trying to manage the situation. By inventing a baby, he was quiet for a beat. Then, almost gentle, we can fix this. I wondered if any part of him was real. He stepped closer. I stepped back. That was enough of that conversation. I grabbed the go bag I had hidden under a towel. I slid past him to the door. My heart hammered hard against my ribs. He put a hand out. I flinched. Where are you going? Somewhere safe. He scoffed. This is ridiculous. Maybe, but I am leaving. The next morning, I drove to a friend's duplex across town. I parked 2 blocks away and walked the last stretch. My shoulders only loosened when the door clicked behind me. She poured coffee and pushed a phone across the table. So start from the top. I rubbed at the crease between my eyes. I found baby shoes in the garage. He shrugged it off. Then the shirt in the hamper. Then the statements. She shook her head. My stomach just sank. I called the number. She confirmed the kids. She did not even sound surprised. Did she sound scared? More annoyed at me for existing? We sat in the kitchen while the clock ticked. Then she said what I had already decided. Do not go back alone. I nodded. I will not. By noon, I had a plan. I texted her a meet location near a busy plaza and kept it simple. Coffee shop, bright windows, lots of people. My friend offered to come, so we went together. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why trust the other woman? Because she had information I needed, and because he clearly counted on us never comparing stories. I printed screenshots, tucked them in a folder, and set an audio recorder app to start with 1 tap. My hands still trembled, but my voice stayed steady when it mattered. I arrived early and picked a table near the door. She walked in with a tote bag and cautious eyes. We nodded. No hug. I opened the folder and slid it across. She stared, jaw tight. That is his number. Her thumb hovered, and that calendar. He told me I was a mistake. Then he told you I was pregnant. Her voice went dull. He said you trapped him. So I'm like, why lie about a baby? She looked away. Because he needed a reason. She pulled her phone and scrolled through months of messages. There were photos from school pickups, dentist reminders, and cash transfer receipts labeled groceries. A chorus event on a Friday I recognized. Same night he told me he was with a client. She tapped a picture. His arm was around a little girl, wearing a shirt exactly like the one in my bag. I kept breathing, slow and even. Okay, so this is where it gets crazy. I told her I wanted to record a call with him, with both of us on speaker. She nodded once. I prepped the recorder, put the phone down, and dialed. He picked up on the second ring. Hey, can you talk? Who is this number? It is me. At the cafe. Silence hung. Where are you? With her. Put us on speaker. His voice sharpened. Do not play games. I leaned toward the mic. How many children do you have? Paper rustled on his end. Stop this. Answer the question. He exhaled through his nose. 3. My chest tightened. Do your parents know? No. It is none of their business. Did your daughter leave a shirt at our house? A pause lengthened. Maybe. We did laundry. In my hamper. It must have gotten mixed. Mixed from what, exactly? From the bag. I glanced at the mother. He brought a bag. Her jaw tightened. Not to my place. He caught the trap. I have to go. Do not hang up. The line clicked dead. She pressed her palms to her forehead and let out a low breath. All right, he is cornered. I saved the recording and emailed it to myself and to her. Now what? We make a safety plan, she replied. She wrote down a shelter hotline, an attorney referral, and a list of things I should not leave behind. ID, medications, bank cards, laptop. I nodded and stood. I needed clothes, chargers, and my grandmother's locket. Time to retrieve and go. We drove to the house mid-afternoon while he was allegedly at work. I parked around the corner and watched the driveway for a full minute. No truck. We moved fast once inside. I grabbed a suitcase and started sweeping drawers. My friend unplugged chargers and rolled cords. I checked under the bed for the locket box. The door opened. My shoulders jumped toward my ears. He stepped in and froze. His voice went quiet. Where were you? Out. With who? I set the suitcase upright. You called it a mistake. I call it the end. He shut the door. We can talk. You already did. On the recording. He blinked. What recording? The one where you admitted the kids. He took 2 steps forward. My friend stepped between us. Back up. His jaw worked. You are trespassing. My name is on the lease, he scoffed. I can fix that. Try it and see what happens. He reached for my phone. I angled away and tapped the emergency icon. The speaker chirped. 911, what is your emergency? My fiancé is preventing me from leaving. I need officers. He spread his hands. I am not touching you. He is blocking the door. Units are en route. Stay on the line. He paced toward the doorway and planted himself there. You are not taking my things. These are mine. Everything in this house was mine before you. Cool story, move. His nostrils flared. You stole my phone. It is on the counter, water damaged. He glared at the kitchen, like he could will it to fix itself. The dispatcher kept talking. Officers are 3 minutes out. I shifted my grip on the suitcase. My friend held her phone up, recording. He noticed the camera and took a step back. Turn that off. No. He jabbed a finger at me. You will regret this. The dispatcher's voice stayed even. Do not engage. Keep distance. He pulled out his wallet and flashed a bank card. I closed the joint account this morning. My stomach lurched. You what? I moved the funds to my personal, consider it rent. You cannot do that. I just did. Then refund my deposits. He curled his lip. No. Flights are cheap. Use your own money. My friend shook her head at me, eyes urgent. Do not argue finance now. I breathed through my teeth. Fine. Step aside. Make me. Sirens threaded the air outside. He went still, calculating next moves. Tell them you are fine. I am not fine. He softened his voice. Baby, be reasonable. Do not call me that. Tires crunched gravel. Red and blue flickered against the wall. He turned his head toward the window. This is where everything fell apart. An officer knocked hard. Polis, open up. He stared at me. Choose. Talk or leave. I gripped the handle and glanced at my friend. She murmured, almost a whisper. Press charges. Another knock hit the door. Polis. My flight left in 4 hours. I unlocked the door and stepped back, suitcase in hand, friend at my shoulder. 2 officers entered, split their focus, and took in the scene fast. One looked at me, then at him. Everyone separate. I pointed to the suitcase. I'm leaving. He blocked the door. The second officer glanced at my phone, still on with the dispatcher. End the call. Keep the line open if he escalates again. The first officer motioned him toward the kitchen. Hands visible. He lifted his palms. I didn't touch her. I swallowed and kept my voice steady. He closed the path and threatened to cancel my lease access. The first officer nodded at my friend. You witnessed. She lifted her phone. Recorded. His eyes flicked to the phone and away. We gave our names. I spelled mine twice. The officer took notes and asked simple questions. Did he put hands on you? No. Did he prevent you from leaving? Yes. He stood in the only exit. Any weapons in the house? No idea. He glanced at my fiancé. Weapons? No. He looked back at me. Do you want to leave with your belongings right now? Yes. He nodded once. We are going to do a civil standby. You pack what you need. He will not interfere. The second officer turned to him. You're going to stay put while she packs. If you move toward her or block that door again, I will arrest you for unlawful restraint. Do you understand? His voice went flat. Yeah, good. My shoulders eased a fraction. I grabbed the locket box from under the bed, filled the suitcase with basics, and zipped it while keeping him in my peripheral vision. He watched, jaw set, hand still. The officers kept a calm rhythm. Bank issue you mentioned. That is civil. If you want to pursue that, small claims or attorney. Today is about leaving safely. I nodded and kept moving. I unplugged the router and hesitated. The first officer shook his head. Leave anything that could escalate a fight later. Focus on personal essentials. He was right. I left the router and grabbed the planner with passwords instead. At the doorway, the second officer stepped aside and held out a card. This is the case number for a disturbance call. If he shows up at your friend's place, call 911 immediately. Consider a protective order if he harasses you. He turned to my fiancé. You will not follow them. Do not contact her tonight. If you do, we will come back. My fiancé stared past us like we were noise. Then his gaze landed on me. You are overreacting. We could fix this. My throat burned. You lied about children. He let the silence sit. Then he whispered, almost tender, you won't make it out there without help. The first officer saw my flinch. Enough, he warned. We left. The air outside felt cooler than it had any right to be. We loaded the suitcase into my friend's trunk. Only after the cul-de-sac disappeared behind us did my shoulders finally drop. I checked my phone. No texts. Then 3 came at once. Long paragraphs. Then a short one that twisted my stomach. You took my recordings. I blocked his number. Then I blocked his email, his socials, and his mother's landline to be safe. We went straight to a bank branch. I closed the joint account formally and filed a dispute on the last transfer. The teller leaned forward, voice low. Because the account allowed either signer, recovery is not guaranteed. File the dispute anyway. It starts a paper trail. I signed forms and left with a copy. Then we hit a phone store where I changed my number. I sent the new one only to my parents, my boss, and my friend. At my friend's place, we printed a simple list for court. Call log screenshots. The audio transcript with his admission. The police case card. The child support letters. I put everything in a cheap, plastic folder that somehow felt heavier than it looked. My flight was still in 4 hours, but standby could slip away fast. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why run, instead of staying to fight? Because I had a job waiting back home and a couch to catch me, and because the best fight I could manage from here would be slogging through mud he made. I booked the standby seat with miles and packed snacks into a tote, like a person who still remembered ordinary problems. At the airport, I hugged my friend hard and thanked her more times than made sense. Text when you land, she said, pointing at my bag. And sleep with that folder next to you. I laughed once and swallowed. I will. Security felt unreal. People chattered about vacations and sports, while my brain recalcitrantly looped through a pink shirt and a calendar labeled weekends. At the gate, I sat with my back to a wall and watched the walkway. My name went up on the list. Then it got called. On the plane, I let the white noise bury me. My eyes stung. I closed them and saw 2 houses, 2 phones, and 3 kids who never asked to be proof of anything. When we landed, I stepped into the chill and my lungs unclenched a little. My old boss hugged me in the arrivals lane, like I was family. I told you your desk would still be here, she grinned, then softened. We start you back next Monday. Take the weekend to breathe. I slept on my parents' sofa for 2 nights, then moved into a month-to-month sublet near work. I spent the next morning at the courthouse filing for a protective order that covered electronic harassment and stalking. The clerk guided me through the form. List specific incidents. The call, the blocking, the threatening language. I wrote slowly, hands steady now.